guys, welcome to the channel. Alright you guys, I'm going to do a disclosure before I record this video. This is my college football week 2 predictions, and full disclosure here, I am recording this before week 1 because I am going on vacation and will not be able to record while I'm on vacation. So if anything crazy happens, don't fault me. This is recorded beforehand, but let's get into it. So, again, I do the top 25 games. I don't do all the college football games because that'd be a lot and you'd be watching me for a very long time. So we do the top 25 games. I let you know my predictions for the week. So this is week 2. Let's do it. First we have East Washington versus number 25 Boise State. I'm going with Boise State here. Not much to talk about. I think that Boise State will definitely pull off this win. That is on Friday, September 5th. So that is our Friday game for week 2. And then we move on to Saturday's game, and we have my Alabama Crimson Tide versus UL Monroe. No doubt about it here, Alabama's going to win. If they lose this game, no offense to UL Monroe, but if Alabama loses this game, they might as well pack it up and just quit the season. Then we have San Jose State versus Texas, and if you watched my last video of week 1 predictions, I predicted that Texas is going to beat Ohio State, and I don't think that momentum slows down here. They go past San Jose State easily. Then we have number 2 Penn State and FIU. Penn State gets this win for sure. I think most of these games earlier in the season is honestly like practice games, and I don't mean that in any way, shape, or form negatively towards these teams. I just feel like these big powerhouse teams book these smaller teams so that they can kind of get their momentum going for the tougher teams later in the year. Then we have number 12, Illinois versus Duke. And Duke is one of those in football and basketball that really you can't sleep on because sometimes they pop up and surprise you. Now, obviously in basketball, they're dominant every year, but they are just one in football that literally will pop up and surprise you. But I'm still going with Illinois here. I think that they pull off the win. Then we have Baylor versus SMU. I'm going with SMU for sure. Then we have Kennesaw State versus Indiana. I'm moving with Indiana. Week 2 seems to be a little easier than week 1. Not much thinking on this one. Then we have Iowa versus Iowa State. This is the state battle, and so this one could be a tough one. But I'm still going to go with Iowa State on this one. I think that they will win. They pulled off a big win against Kansas State and Ireland, and I think that they move on to defeat Iowa in the state battle. Then we have Texas Tech Red Raiders and Kent State, and I'm going to go with Texas Tech on this one. Again, these are kind of games to really get their momentum going, and so I think that will be a win for them. Then we have number 19, Texas A&M at Utah State. I will not go against Texas A&M at home versus Utah State, so we're going to put the Aggies on top in that one. Ohio State versus Grambling. Now, I did pick Ohio State to lose the first week, but I think they're going to get their feet back in the ground and beat Grambling and win on week 2. Then we have number 4, Clemson and Troy. Now, Clemson is my pick to be in the ACC Championship, so I definitely think they pull out the victory here with Troy, and they're going to have a hot season. Then we have the Georgia Bulldogs versus Austin Peay, and I, again, have to go with Georgia here. A lot of these games are just really practice games for these teams. And again, I don't mean that for the little states, because good for them for facing a big team like that. I know it brings in revenue. I know it brings in eyes to their team. So I get why they do it, but we're definitely going with Georgia on that one. And then we have Oklahoma State and Oregon. Oregon is my pick in the Big 12 title picture. I think that they're going to go on and face Penn State in that. And if you watched my prediction video, you know that. So we're going to go with the Ducks here. Then we have Ole Miss and Kentucky. And honestly, this one could be interesting because Kentucky had a building program for a little while. They had some setbacks. But I feel like whenever you go into Lexington, it is tough. So Lane Kiffin could have a tough second week here, but ultimately I do think Ole Miss pulls this off. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a one-score game, but I'm going to give it to Ole Miss. Then you have ETSU, East Tennessee State University, and Tennessee. And of course, as unfortunate as it is, I have to give the Volunteers where credit is due, and they're going to win. Then we have South Florida and Florida. Florida is definitely advancing here. I think the Gators chomp down on South Florida and get that W. Then we have Miami and Bethune, and I had to look that up on Google on how to pronounce that because it does not look like that at all. So we're going to give the Hurricanes the win here because I don't even know how to pronounce the other team. Then we have South Carolina State versus South Carolina and another in-state battle, but I definitely have to go with South Carolina on this one. We have Kansas State versus Army. Kansas State is looking to bounce back from their loss to Iowa State in Ireland, and I think they do just that in week 2. I think they bounce back and they get the victory over Army. Then we have Louisiana Tech and LSU. Lots of in-state games. I'm definitely giving it to LSU. It's a 6:30 game at LSU. There's nothing like playing in LSU at night. LSU gets the win. Then we have Arizona State and Mississippi State. Again, this could be another tough game, but I'm ultimately giving it to Arizona State. I think they take out the victory here. And our night game, kind of the biggest game of week 2 in my opinion, is Michigan versus Oklahoma. This is a 14 and an 18 game, and honestly, I debated on this one a lot because Michigan's got a lot of stuff going on with their program, with the whole Jim Harbaugh thing still going on. But I have to give it to the Wolverines. I'm going to give them the win over Oklahoma. I think that they are going to want to prove themselves, prove that they're not, cheaters that everybody is labeling them as. And I think that they want to prove that they can do it without Harbaugh as well because he moved on to the Chargers. So I'm going to give Michigan the win in week 2. But I want to know, what are all of your thoughts on week 1, week 2? Like I said, full disclosure, this was filmed before week 1 was complete because I'm on vacation. So if I missed something, check my TikTok because I probably covered it on there. But we ran through this kind of quick because these games are a little lackluster. Week 2 is usually a little lackluster because we get some big games in week 1, and then we're prepping for the big games in the middle of the schedule. But I'm curious. Let me know your predictions, your thoughts, and everything. Subscribe to this channel, like, comment, follow me on all socials, and I'll see you guys after vacation.